Morning. Don't know where you are, but where I am, it's early, the world's still stretching, the coffee's hot, and the signals are already coming in. Let's take a look before the day starts making demands. This is Signal Check with Adrian North. So, two of the oldest names in reference publishing just threw down against OpenAI. Encyclopedia Britannica and Merriam-Webster, the dictionary people, filed a lawsuit alleging massive copyright infringement. And when I say massive, they're claiming OpenAI scraped nearly 100,000 of their articles to train those LLMs without asking, without paying, without anything. Here's where it gets interesting. It's not just about the training data. Britannica says ChatGPT sometimes spits out their content verbatim, word for word, and uses their articles in that RG workflow, retrieval augmented generation. But then there's the hallucination problem. The lawsuit says OpenAI violates trademark law when ChatGPT makes stuff up and falsely attributes it to Britannica. Imagine that. The AI invents facts and slaps the Britannica name on them. The core argument? ChatGPT is starving publishers of revenue by answering queries that would have sent people to their websites, as competing directly with the content it stole to begin with. And Britannica warns that these hallucinations threaten public access to trustworthy information. They're not the first to sue OpenAI over this, but they might be the most symbolic. The dictionary itself is calling foul. Let's talk about dark web monitoring for a second. You've probably seen ads for these services, companies promising to scan the shadowy corners of the internet for your stolen data. Sounds essential, right? Well, hold on. Turns out most compromised data isn't actually lurking in some encrypted dark web vault. It's on publicly accessible hacker forums and markets, regular websites you could technically Google your way to. That's what makes these monitoring services possible in the first place. The data is already out there in the open. And here's the thing, you don't necessarily need to pay for this. Have I Been Pwned offers free breach alerts, no account required. Mozilla Monitor, databreach.com, same deal. So, should you stick with the free options? That depends. A lot of paid security bundles throw in dark web monitoring as a bonus feature alongside password managers, VPNs, that sort of thing. It's not that the malware is worthless, it's just that the dark web framing makes it sound more exotic than it really is. Most of the time, you're just getting alerts about public breaches, which, to be fair, is still useful. You just don't need to pay a premium for the branding. Remember Pokémon Go? That augmented reality craze from a few years back where people wandered around parks and parking lots hunting digital Pikachus? Turns out you weren't just playing a game, you were training robots. This week, Niantic Spatial, the team behind Pokémon Go, announced a partnership with Coco Robotics, a company that makes short-distance delivery bots. And here's the kicker. Niantic trained its visual positioning system on more than 30 billion images captured by Pokémon Go players. 30 billion. All those times you pointed your phone at a street corner or a weird alley to catch a Charizard? You were feeding data into a model that now helps robots navigate where GPS fails. John Hanke, Niantic's CEO, put it bluntly, getting Pikachu to realistically run around and getting Coco's robot to safely move through the world is actually the same problem. Same problem, same solution. You just didn't know you were solving it. There's a saying in poker, if you don't know who the fish is, you're the fish. That applies online too. If you don't know what product a company is actually selling, you are the product. Those 30 billion images, that's the product. And millions of players handed it over for free while chasing cartoon monsters. About 14,000 routers are infected with malware that's extremely difficult to remove. It's called Cadnap, and it's hit ASUS routers particularly hard, likely because whoever's running this operation has reliable exploits for specific models. The good news? Researchers don't think these are zero-day vulnerabilities. The bad news, that doesn't make the infection any easier to get rid of. Cadnap does something clever. It saves a shell script that runs every time the infected router restarts. So rebooting won't fix it, it just comes right back, and what's it doing on your router? Turning it into a node in a distributed network that sells proxy services. A company called Doppelganger uses these infected devices to tunnel paying customers' traffic through residential internet connections. High bandwidth, clean IP addresses, totally anonymous. It's resilient too. Even if some nodes go down, the network keeps humming along. CADNet peaked at around 14,000 infections, down slightly from when it was first spotted last August. So what do? Install firmware updates. Use a strong admin password. Disable remote access unless you absolutely need it. And if you think you're infected, honestly, you might need to do a full factory reset and rebuild from scratch, because this one doesn't quit easy. Here's a wild one to close on. Back in 1990, a guy named Tim McCartney Snape became the first person to walk and climb from sea level all the way to the summit of Mount Everest. Not just climb the mountain, start at the ocean and go up. Now, decades later, a Romanian climber named Madeleine Cristea is trying to do that for all 7 summits, and he's already started his Everest attempt. Cristea set off from the coast of West Bengal on March 4th. He's walking in support of the Cross India right now, covering 30 to 45 kilometers a day. Then he'll trek through the Khumbu region toward Everest Base Camp, with a stopover at Mera Peak to acclimatize, sea to summit, on foot, the whole way. It's the kind of thing that makes you rethink what's actually hard. As hackers, we sort of do this in reverse, right? Start with the outside casing, then work down the stack to the chip, layer by layer. Speaking of chips, my old friend Joe Grand just dropped another awesome video on his YouTube. If you're into hardware hacking, you should definitely check it out. The guy's a legend. That's Signal Check for today. Close the tabs, step outside, the day's waiting. We'll talk again next time.